Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Dailey and I'm a young adult science fiction fantasy author. I'm coming at you guys today with my spooky, scary writing tag. As you can see, I have my cloak, which I actually won in a raffle for like gift baskets at the Liberty State Fiction Writers Conference, which is kind of random, but now I have a cloak. Since I make videos every Thursday and Halloween happens to fall on a Thursday this year, I thought what better than to make a spooky, scary writing tag. This tag was originally created by Emma T. Fink, so thank you, Emma, for that. I will link her in the comments if you want to check her AuthorTube channel out. And since then it has been used a lot. It was created last year, so I'm using it again this year because why not? The questions sound fun. So we'll get right into it. There's about 10 questions and each of the questions are depicted by a creature that you would commonly see at Halloween. So the first question is ghost. Have you ever originally put a character, scene, or theme or anything in your book and then taken it out like a ghost? Of course I have. The short answer is yes. I think I did that more with my original manuscript, the very first one that I wrote, but I did it a lot less with this one. My outline was a lot bulkier, so I didn't feel the need to take quite as much out. The day is young. It could probably still happen, but as of yet I haven't taken a lot out. The first chapters get cut and sliced and changed more often than anything else, because the first chapters obviously are so important. But usually I will have a separate document where I can take cutscenes and paste them into it. I usually title it something like scrap stuff, and then separate the different text by like a title, just so I can kind of get an idea of what it's about without having to read everything all over again. And if I ever need it, I can go back to the document, take it, pull it back out, and put it back in the manuscript if I need it. But I haven't really needed it, so yeah. Number 2, Bat. What is the most misunderstood character in your work in progress? I kind of feel like I write all of my characters to feel a little bit misunderstood from each other. I feel like it creates a lot of tension if people don't feel like they're always being understood by the other people, other characters, you know. My main character, Gumford Starshock, has a lot of secrets, and he can never show his true self to other people, which makes him very frustrating for other people to deal with. But I would say that my most misunderstood character is probably Marilla, who is my antagonist, and she's driven by career ambitions to arrest Gumford and bring him back home. And she's very hard on the outside, she's fierce, she'll do anything she can to get what she wants, and she doesn't often let that soft interior show through. In fact, she never shows that soft side to anybody in the novel. The only person that gets to see that soft side is the reader. Number 3, Jackolantern. What are your most common sources of inspiration to write? I feel most inspired when I'm able to daydream. If I can just take a walk outside, lay down on the sofa, in the shower, especially if I am the passenger in a car on like a long car trip, just being able to look outside and drift away in my own head, it is very helpful for inspiration. I do get inspiration when I'm reading other books. Writing craft books will give me inspiration sometimes, movies, TV shows, but mostly it's when I'm able to just kind of let myself dive into my own head. I feel like I have tons of ideas up there, like flipping around like puzzle pieces, trying to figure out how they fit together. Jenna Moresi, who actually did the Spooky Scary Writing tag last year, said that she has a very busy mind. I totally get that. And she has trouble paying attention to other people. And honestly, I have never felt so seen. I have so much trouble paying attention to other people when they're talking because I'm so like soaked up in my own world trying to work things out with stories and other book ideas that I'm working on. Number 4, zombie. What is your preferred form of writerly fuel? Coffee, tea, etc. I think it depends on when I'm writing. If I'm writing in the morning, coffee all the way. If I'm writing in the evening, however, I usually reach for tea. if it's late and I know that I have to get to bed soon, I'll do like an herbal tea. But if I'm ready to put in the hours, it's caffeinated tea. However, it also depends on if I'm drafting or editing. Sometimes when I'm drafting and I feel like I need to loosen up a little bit, I will have some wine or whiskey or something with it, maybe a hard cider. But I don't do that often. I actually don't drink while I write that often. When I'm drafting is a lot different than when I'm editing, so. Number 5, vampire. What is the cheesiest trope that has made it into your novel? I have kind of a loose, wobbly kind of love triangle that's sort of a best friends to lovers and a lovers to enemies sort of situation. It's not exactly that, but it is a little bit of a trope. I tried to change things up a little bit, make it a little different, but it did make it in the novel. And I do have, because it is a science fiction, it's actually a space opera, and we've got characters in outer space, on spaceships and stuff. There are definitely airlocks and things happen with the airlocks, and I know that's such a trope, but it's such a great moment to have that airlock moment when, like, you know there's no way of coming back, or maybe there's no way of coming back. I don't know. Maybe there is. But I definitely have something like that that made it in the novel too, and I love the scenes, so I'm very happy with them. So is what it is. Number 6, spider. What is a character in your work in progress that is fine from afar, but you would not want to interact with if they ever got close? Oh gosh, can we please go back to the misunderstood Marilla? Because she has that A-type, OCD, always on, I'm the leader personality, and I think that it would be hard to be around her, to be friendly with her. She would never let that stone wall down for most people, or at least she hasn't found the right person to do that with. But I do love her as a character because you do recognize, as a reader, you recognize that she has this strong exterior, stronger than anyone else in the novel, and she is very soft on the inside and she's very unsure, and I think that creates a lot of depth for her. Number 7, Frankenstein's Monster. The monster. Alright, Sue. Have you ever combined 2 characters into one, or split characters into 2, or more than 2? I don't think I have. I think that there have been times in my first manuscript where I was getting closer to possibly doing that, but it never actually happened, and it hasn't happened with this book yet either. So no, not yet. Number 8, skeleton. That's inside of me. And you. They're everywhere. What are your best tips for adding in character baggage without info dumping? I would say that my best tips for that include definitely doing it in dialogue. When 2 characters can interact with each other, it brings their relationship closer together. In addition, admitting dialogue and knowing other people's secrets and darknesses bring the character relationship together, makes it stronger, and also brings you as the reader deeper into the story, and you become more invested in those relationships. Now, doing it in dialogue really helps keep it concise, to keep you from info dumping, because it's pretty rare that a character would get up on a soapbox and talk about their baggage for a lot of time. Unless you write that into the character, which obviously that's your prerogative, but in a general way, it's very helpful in dialogue to be able to keep it concise. Where's my cat? Huxley? Number 9, cat. What is a polarizing, writerly, or bookish opinion that you have? Do you want down? Are you happy? You gonna hang out with? So originally I was going to talk about, I didn't realize you were going to stay. I wasn't ready for this, Huxley. Originally I was going to talk about how writing is a business, not just an art. Like, you want to get paid for your work. And sometimes writing takes being Writing takes being a marketer or a salesperson too. But Jenna Maressi, who also did the spooky writing tag, answered it perfectly in hers, and I 100% agree with her, so I'm going to link that down below, and you can definitely check out her answer because, wow, it was perfect. So instead I'm going to talk about hybrid publishing. So I believe that you can be traditionally published, self-published, or indie published, or all of the above, multiples of the above, and you can still be successful. To jump. There we go. He stayed for a really long time though. That was pretty good. But otherwise, yeah, you can do many things. It doesn't have to be one or the other. You can do multiple things at the same time. Traditional publishing takes a long time, 1 to 2 years from the point of acquisition. So during those years, you can utilize that time to be self-publishing or indie publishing another novel. I know that it is looked upon, and I won't say it's a steadfast rule or anything unless it's in your contract, but it is looked upon that you shouldn't be publishing anything within 6 months of your book release date when you're traditionally publishing, because then you start competing with yourself for marketing and sales and stuff like that. But other than that, outside of that timeline, you can still be publishing other things and getting work and books to your readers. I just don't think that a lot of people are looking kindly on it yet. Some people think that you can only be one thing. I know that if you have self-published a book and you didn't do well, that is something that's frowned upon when you go to traditionally publish something. And I don't think that's right. I don't think that's fair. I think you grow and learn as you go. So do all the things, guys. Do all the things. Number 10, demon. What is your most common writing distraction? I have so many. I would say that my dogs are probably top of the list. I have 2 big dogs and I have 2 cats also, and they're all very distracting. They all have different personalities and they all want things from me at different times. I'd say cleaning is also a distraction. I work from home, which means I'm constantly thinking about all of the things in the house that could be cleaner. Constantly distracted by that. Social media obviously is a part of it. I do pretty good with just like scrolling pretty quickly through something and then putting it away. But if I get into a loop, it could take a while. YouTube is also a distraction. Videos can be really long, so they take up a lot of time. Even though I feel like I'm learning, I'm usually watching writing craft videos when I get distracted. But yeah, going down the rabbit hole with that is very distracting. So if you are being distracted from your writing right now by watching this YouTube video, you should turn it off and get back to work, because that is all I have for you today. I make new videos every Thursday, guys. Have a great Halloween, and I will see you next time. Number 5.